Back with the market right here on ET Now. Talk about good set of numbers, and it was definitely a blow-away quarter from Root Mobile. So let's welcome on board Gautam Badalia, the Chief Strategy Officer at Root, joining in the show right now. Gautam, hi, morning. What an explosive set of numbers. What were the key contributors?
So good morning, everyone, and thanks for having me on the show. So first of all, I think, as I said, a pandemic has really boosted the CPaaS adoption by enterprises, and the CPaaS adoption continues to remain very robust for enterprises. So we see digital adoption being adopted by enterprises, across the board, and we are a significant beneficiary of the same. So it's been across the board, adoption. So we've seen new digital age companies, adopting it. They are trying to reach out to customers digitally, banking, fintech companies. We've seen it across the board now. I think massive adoption by enterprises is the key to, this stellar sort of a performance from our side.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're in the right place at the right time. Can't say it better than that. But tell me, if I take a look at your 350 crore rupee revenue this quarter, it comes at a run rate of about 3.8 crore rupees per day. How much are we currently doing, and is it going to keep going from here up until the end of the next quarter too?
So as we speak, we are doing a run rate greater than that today. So it would be about a 20-25% growth on that, I think, is what we are looking at on a run rate basis. There are a lot of new clients that we've added, including including a couple of global Fortune 500 clients. So that will lead to incremental ramp up of the daily run rate revenue.
Okay. And your employee costs as well have come down this quarter. The other income was higher considerably, and people believe that your profitability has been aided by some of these factors. Can you elaborate a little bit more and tell us about the trajectory going forward on these parameters too?
So, to be very, very candid, the employee cost hasn't come down. It has gone up, rather. It has gone up slightly because of pandemic. Despite the pandemic, we've done about 54 hires. So we've hired about 54 employees, including, the firewall company that we have, 365 Squad. We've hired a new CEO for that business. We've hired a new HR lady. So we continue to be on a hiring spree. We'll be adding more resources to our employees from US. So we'll be adding employees to the US bucket. We'll be adding few employees in the UK as well. So as a trajectory, we'll continue to invest, because that is the only asset that we have to invest into to garner growth. So we'll continue to maintain or rather continue to hire employees in developed markets as well.
Okay. And what is the update on the big Africa business? You said that that's going to be available to the company soon, the Google Africa tender. What's the latest?
So, we continue to work closely with some of these global tech giants. 9 of the 20 top global tech giants, they are our direct customers. So, we keep working with them very closely and keep our ears close to the ground as to any opportunity that we can sense. That's the land and expand strategy that we pursue. So that is on the cards. Work is already in progress. So let's see. Keeping our fingers crossed for that.
Sure. All right. So those are a couple of pointers that we're looking at there. In terms of what the balance sheet is looking like, any acquisitions that are possibly on the radar at this point of time?
Absolutely, yes. So we are in discussions with few potential targets, both domestic as well as outside of India. We're looking at targets, looking at entering into new geographies, looking at expanding our product line. From our perspective, we believe, the future of communications will be a culmination of CPaaS, which is communication platform as a service, plus UCaaS, which is unified communication as a service. So we are looking at expanding our portfolio, expanding our product line to culminate both the things together and become a very potent force in the global enterprise arena on the communication front.
Okay, awesome. The Google Africa tender, you mentioned Africa, but any update on that one?
So Africa, we are a very dominant player in Africa, and already, I can tell you, we are already working closely with the name that you just quoted. We're working with Google closely on that. We have we have rather made some representations jointly with them on the next generation of messaging, which is RCS, where Google is trying to invest a lot of time, resource, and energy, and we are closely working with them as an early access partner. So. Uh, so Africa is definitely, that will be the next leg of growth that will accrue to Root Mobile, in days to come.
Sure. Wanted to understand what exactly, Gautam, is CPaaS and why is it that it's so critical to enterprises?
So today, the way we are engaging right now, it's on a virtual platform, right? Likewise, for an enterprise today to reach out to their customers because of the pandemic, it's becoming increasingly difficult, right? And we, sitting at home, the click of a button, we are able to do transactions. We don't have to visit a bank branch to do a transaction. So if there are any airlines, the flights are delayed, you get a call on your mobile. That your flight is delayed, your gates have changed. So you don't. So from an enterprise standpoint, the human interface element is coming to minimal sort of an interaction. Everything is getting digitized, and we enable that. Through SMS, through email, through voice, and IP messaging. Today, so we have a client in Middle East where we enabled the entire hospital. So this is a large hospital chain in Middle East where the entire appointment booking to identifying the right sort of a doctor for the treatment. You can do everything on over a bot on a WhatsApp platform. So that is the kind of integrations that are happening now across the board. If you have to test drive a BMW vehicle, you can just go to a bot, interact with the bot, and book and test appointment. If your car's broke down, you can notify the brand through the WhatsApp itself.
Okay. Sure. Gautam, I'm just looking at your numbers, and for the first half, your volumes were flattish, and I'd really appreciate if you could throw in some numbers and quantify this here. Is there any seasonality to your business? Would it be a fair assumption to say that maybe H2 volumes would be better than what you did in the first half?
So historically, what we have seen in terms of our portfolio, H1 is about 45% of revenue. H2 tends to be about 55% of revenue, and that's largely because Q3 tends to be the best quarter of the lot. That's because we tend to spend more. We go on vacations, and Q2 inherently, is always a muted quarter because the world goes on vacation. You tend to relax more in Q2 rather than any other time of the year. So H2 typically is 55% of revenue. So the ramp up usually happens in the second half of the year.
But the world hasn't gone anywhere since February. So would things change? This traditional parameter that you're drawing as opposed to what H1 and H2 are going to be like, could it not be the case?
We believe it will be the case because some of the sectors that we were catering to in travel, hospitality had got impacted because of the pandemic. And as gradually, as things start to ease out, you will see those things coming back to normalcy. So that is where we believe second half should be better.
Okay, good to hear that. Just one final question, Gautam, from my end. Airtel launched IQ recently. Does that in any way compete with your business model? And could it be a threat in that sense?
So the good thing is, Airtel has launched the CPaaS platform, so which in a way, endorses the potential of CPaaS. So we are happy, and largely, we believe Airtel would be looking at India as a market, and we as a global company. So we are agnostic to any particular sort of an MNO. So from that standpoint, we will continue to drive the momentum that we're driving right now, and it augurs well for the sector overall. If you have things being endorsed by players like Airtel.
Okay, Gautam, good to speak with you and congratulations once again for a blowout quarter. 10% higher in trade yesterday. Let's just revisit what Route Mobile is doing currently in trade and whether or not it's managing to sustain its gains. That stock price will just come up for you on your screens.